What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's HorrorFan34, and welcome to another video. And welcome to day 28 of the 31 Days of Horror Challenge in October. Now we are on day 28 of the challenge. I figured I'd talk about another underrated gem. In my opinion, this is another one from the 80s that I really do enjoy. It's directed by Sean S. Cunningham. The forgotten film that everybody didn't even know he did. And that's a shame, because I think it's an underrated gem. Allergies are killing me. But I think this is a hidden gem from the 80s. I really, really do. And if you can tell by the title of the video, that review is going to be on The New Kids. Now, The New Kids was a film that was released in 1985, and actually, this is the Mill Creek Blu-ray VHS retro slipcover. But, no tagline for this. Well, I guess on the back, they can't afford to lose. But, give you a little bit of front and the back. And, of course, that was the original poster. Oh, excuse me for the coughing. This was the one that was actually on the DVD. But The New Kids was a film, like I said, 1985, directed by Sean S. Cunningham. And this has a pretty solid cast of people. You have Shannon Presby, you have Lori Loughlin, who went on to be in Full House. James Spader, of course, is your villain. You also have John Philbin from Children of the Corn, Eddie Jones, may he rest in peace. You have Eric Stoltz. You have a small role by Tom Atkins. But the basic idea with the film is that you have these two, you have a brother and a sister, Abby and Lauren, played by Shannon Presby and Lori Loughlin, and they live with their mom and dad. And their dad is Tom Atkins. I apologize for the allergies. But, basically what ends up happening is that their mom and dad die in a car accident. And they are forced to go live in Florida with their uncle, Uncle Charlie, played by Eddie Jones. And, you know, they meet the new kids over there and things like that, and then when you find out there's this group of kids over there that are really dangerous, and they are into dealing drugs, and they do drugs and things like that, and they're headed by James Spader, who plays Dutra, which you actually see him on the back, right there with the sunglasses on. And then from there on, like him and his buddies, including John Philbin, start terrorizing Lauren and Abby, and, you know, James Spader has a crush on Lori Loughlin. Gets projected by going to the dance with them, things like that. And then it's like a big, like, stalkerish type game with them. And then, like, you know, their Uncle Charlie owns this place, a little carnival, and James Spader and his buddies are vandalizing it. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, it's under the horror section, but it's kind of more of a thriller. Allergies. But I think this film's really, really well done. I think the cast does a great job. Shannon Presby, Lori Loughlin do a fine job as the brother and sister. Sorry about that, folks. My camera froze. I'm getting pisses me off. But like I was saying, Lori Loughlin and Shannon Presby do a fine job as the brother and sister. Excuse me. Allergies, coughing. But these two do a good job. Tom Atkins, for the little role that he has, he does a good job. It's always nice to see Tom Atkins. Eddie Jones does a good job as the uncle. Eric Stoltz, that's a guy that Lori Loughlin meets in the town, and they become friends. And, I mean, the standout star of the film is this guy, is James Spader, as Dutra, as the leader of these bullies. And James Spader is absolutely fantastic. He's got like the bleach blonde hair and the sunglasses. He sort of has that like albino look to him. He's very creepy, and I mean, like this sets the tone of what his character's like when James Spader is at the gas station. Like the place that Lori Loughlin and Shannon Presby live at with their uncle. It's kind of like a carnival that he's trying to open back up, and it's also mixed in with like a little gas station area that he runs. So James Spader goes there for gas, and Lori Loughlin's pumping the gas for him. And, you know, James Spader's trying to get Lori Loughlin to go to the prom with him, go on for the dance. And she rejects him, and James Spader doesn't like that. I am really sorry for the coughing. It's what allergies do to you. But anyways, James Spader's trying to get, you know, Lori Loughlin to go out with him, and she rejects him, and he doesn't take kindly to that. And, you know, James Spader starts saying stuff to her, and, you know, Lori Loughlin says to him, you know, "You're crazy." And then James Spader has like this dead stare look at her, and he goes, "Crazy?" Allergies, Jesus Christmas. But of course my nose is leaking. But so he says to her, you know, "Crazy? You want crazy? Well, I'll show you crazy." And, you know, just that I mean, James Spader did a far better job than I did, but his delivery, his dialogue, it's just so well done, and James Spader always plays a great villain. I apologize for all the coughing. But, and also one of the other things I really like, too, is the finale of the film, where it takes place all at the carnival, where James Spader and his goons are going after Shannon Presby and Lori Loughlin, and they're getting shotgun shot at him and things like that. You have a really cool moment where one of them gets his head put onto the roller coaster track. You don't really see it, but you kind of get the idea that his head got crushed by the roller coaster. You have another guy in a Ferris wheel, and the seat kind of flips upside down a little bit. And he falls. And he falls to his death. Things like that. And the way... Please excuse me for the allergies. It's really hard to talk if my throat's giving out. But, it's got some nice moments of action in there as well. And then my voice is all nasally. But, it's full of coughs. But I really do enjoy this film a lot. It's got very solid direction by Sean S. Cunningham. I think the cast does a great job, especially James Spader. I mean, James Spader single-handedly steals the show in this as the villain. I mean, it just has that great look, you know, the bleach blonde hair, that accent, the sunglasses. Just very ruthless character, very dangerous. I mean, when he gets killed at the very end, it's really cool looking. I need a drink after this. But I think it's a really solid horror thriller dealing with killer kids in a way. Or like young adults, I guess you would say. But it's really well directed by Sean S. Cunningham. It's got some good music in there. I think the person who did the musical score did a good job. And it was just cool to see this cast together. You know, Tom Atkins and James Spader, John Philbin, things like that. It was just cool to see this cast in there. And overall, it's a solid horror thriller dealing with killer kids, or killer young adults. You have a really fun finale at the carnival when Lori Loughlin gets kidnapped and Shannon Presby has to go save her. Things like that. You got a really fun finale in the carnival. And overall, and the one thing I don't like is the sequel bait ending, which I'm not going to say what it is, but because there never was a sequel. He didn't need a sequel bait ending. It was just fine as one movie. But that's the only knock I have against the film. But it's a very solid solid horror thriller about killer kids. Please excuse me for the coughs, but it's what allergies does to you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.